pleasure. It's my pleasure and honor to welcome you on behalf of the Slovenian Film Festival and of course Slovenian Film Center and entire Slovenian film community. I have no doubt that event it will take place now in this green hall. Contribute more close cooperation between us. So I wish you a good event today and warmly welcome you tonight at an awards and closed ceremony of our festival. Thank you for visit and enjoy in Portorož at the last day of our festival. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Dober dan, lepo pozdravljeni. Hello, my dear colleagues. I'm super happy. I think this setting feels like we are a serious region and powerful. We've just counted out, to start with a little funny joke that we've realized outside, that the money that is in our funds is about the same size as one average Hollywood production. That's a funny start of today, but I think I'm super happy that my colleagues are able to be here, because Slovenian film is depending on co-productions. Its co-production is the key to not only financially, but also circulation-wise and promotion. It's very important that you cooperate, and funding, of course, is something that's crucial in many moments. So I will start. This event is actually meant to be a source of more detailed information for Slovenian producers about funding possibilities in the countries that are here with us today. Because sometimes we don't know how it works. In some countries we don't cooperate so much. So here are my colleagues from countries that we cooperate very well, and you as producers know how they work well, and also countries which are rarely on board with Slovenian films. So maybe I start with the region where we cooperate really a lot, and then go to my colleagues who are here for the first time and probably have mechanisms that are not so well known to all of you. So I might start with you, Chris, as our neighboring country, it's just next door here also, but also a very, very important, traditionally very important partner, Croatia. Chris Marčić is the CEO of Croatian Audiovisual Center. And my question for you would be really a practical, practically to tell us how it works in Croatia, how the decision-making process is done, and what is important when you apply as a minority co-producer, and how many times is it possible during the year to apply. Maybe to go through what are the possibilities for cooperation or minority co-production schemes.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much, Natasha. It's a pleasure to be here, always a pleasure to be here. I don't think there's much for me to say to your producers because they seem to be very familiar with our co-production schemes. How frequently we have them? Yes, 4 times a year. Yes, we cooperate a lot, and we really appreciate the projects that come to us from Slovenia. You are our second biggest user. The biggest is sitting there at the far end of the table. But our producers truly value the co-productions that we have going in both directions, with you, with Serbia most often, but with the other partners as well. And we We have a scheme that is popular. We support it, our producers support it, even though there's a bit of a disbalance if you look historically at the amount of investments that we make in partner projects and what we get. We have stuck to the program because we think it's worthwhile to close budgets, but also because we think that the co-productions are important in and of themselves, as you were saying before, Natasha. They're an opportunity to work together, they create an awareness, and I think they create better projects in the end. So it is very important to us. I think our 1.2 million or so that we have for co-productions every year is substantial, and we intend to continue with that. I was surprised in Sarajevo when our French colleagues talked about their 6 million, and I thought, wow, with the amount of money you have, 1.2 doesn't sound so bad at all. So it's an essential part of our work at HAFTS, and we look forward to continuing the cooperation and intensifying it, I hope.
Great. I'm sure you all know. I wanted also for Chris to say that he has 4 calls, if I'm not wrong, for minority co-production, which is very, very friendly to the producers and to the industry. But that also is connected to many other needs that you need to have. But Croatia has it 4 times a year. And how long is it, just practically, how long does it take when a producer applies to the final yes or no?
Well, if you divide the year in 4 parts, you get a certain idea already between calls. What happens is that we collect all of our staff collect all of the calls, put them in a table, summarize them, attachments to all of the relevant documents, and we have what we call an artistic advisor who reviews all of the projects and makes recommendations to our council. And it's the council that ultimately decides on the recommendations. But the role of the artistic advisor is very important in the process.
A single person?
It's a single person at this time, although the program is so popular. I was just talking to our current advisor, and she told me she has 50 projects for the call that's underway now, which is a lot to review, a lot of reading. So we'll have to see whether we need to provide more support in that area because of the popularity of the program. And then the recommendations come out. The council usually meets shortly afterwards, a week or 2 afterwards, and the results are immediately published.
Okay.
The rest, I think all of the people in the room know what to do with that.
Yeah, thank you. I think it's important for everybody here to know, because you have really, I would say, better and more modern approach to the whole process of selecting and so. Ivan, the Croatians, obviously #1 partner for us. It's important partner as well, traditionally very important. Serbia, we have here at the festival this year many films that are also Serbian co-production. So please, maybe for those who are not yet involved in co-producing with Serbia, what do you think is important? How does it work in your country? And maybe some practical thing that is not yet in the air. So please, Ivan.
Well, Natasha, first, thank you for having us here, and thank you for having me here. I do see that this table looks like we are on the Last Supper, but I remain optimistic for the regional cooperation. Well, for Serbia, we have Croatia has 4 times a year. We have twice a year open call for minority co-productions. The first one is February or March, and the second one usually is around October or November, This year it will be in November. And we have a committee of usually 5 members who are seeing all the projects. Our budget for this year is around 340,000 euros per session. We asked for increase for next year. Hopefully we will have more. Our goal is to have 1 million euro per year for minority co-productions. When divided into 2 sessions, that's 500,000 per session. And I'm very satisfied with the Minority Co-Production Fund because it's really well invested money in all of those films. And those films are opening the door of the international festivals. And I will personally try to increase this budget in the following years. But for the time being, for now, it's around 340,000 euros. We usually support, depending on the number of application, but between 6 or 7 films per session. And there is a tradition, of course, of films which are supported in Serbia from Slovenia, from Croatia, from Bosnia, but I also hope that in the following years we will have more projects from other countries as well. Bulgaria, Romania, Greece, and other countries. So I think all of us should work, everybody in its own center, to try to increase this amount of money and to have more money per project. Because as we all know, the prices are going up everywhere in the production, and one of the most important ways to make a film in this region, beside the main competition or main session in your own country, is to gain support from other countries as well. So if we have more money in this fund, then the circle from the first award, from the first session or the first fund to the beginning of the film is going to be shorter, and more money will be spent into motion picture or production of film. So yes, I will do my best, and I hope other centers will follow, to have more money in these funds in the following years. They are very, very important for the cinematographies in our region. Cinematographies in our region have common past, but we have common future as well. There is no language border, and the actors from all parts of former Yugoslavia are popular in all parts of former Yugoslavia. So those films can also make good results in theaters as well.
Okay, thank you, Ivan. Is there any other source of finances in Serbia, for example, for foreign films, or is Film Center Serbia the only source that is available for films that are not majority local? Is there?
Right now, only Film Center Serbia Minority Co-Production Fund, but some festival can organize some kind of industry program and support some films with some financial support, but those amounts of money are quite smaller than what you can get on the fund on Film Center Serbia.
But you have also the cash rebate scheme, which I forgot to mention in Croatia. Of course, Croatian
depending
popular.
from the investment in Serbia. But it is from 20 to 30%.
But is it possible in Serbia to combine, if you get the money for the minority and also combine it with cash rebate? Is it possible for both to use both?
Theoretically, yes, but mostly the productions who are coming for cash rebate are not from the region. It's mostly big Hollywood productions. And some other countries as well, but not from the region.
Thank you. And then there is Alessandro and Friuli Venezia Giulia Fund, a very important partner of Slovenian cinema. In the past, let's say 10 years, is extremely important. Alessandro comes from the regional fund, which is a bit different from us, who are a different governmental bodies, so to say. So Alessandro, for those who don't yet shoot in Friuli Venezia Giulia. Many of them are. Tell us, please, what are the opportunities that you have, how does it work, and what kind of possibilities your region and your fund is offering.
Also from my side, Natasha, thank you so much for the invitation to be here today. And yes, actually, you already mentioned kind of some interesting points that can really somehow highlight the role of a regional film fund like ours at this table. Our regional film fund was set up 17 years ago, and of course the proximity towards this area of Europe, let's say, completely influenced the whole policy and strategy of our fund. This is why we, from the very beginning, we looked immediately towards East, and the idea of co-production was somehow the key element of our strategy and our policy. The idea was also that our regional fund can give access to a larger system. So basically, it's not being a national fund, but being a regional fund. We know that our initial support can somehow allow to attract additional funding support in the rest of Italy, in the rest of the country, with the other possible resources available. But before, let's say, mentioning the whole system, because I think that the whole system is really what makes sense when considering Friuli Venezia Giulia. I can just say that right now our fund is running more or less 1.2 million per year, and we have 3 calls per year, and in every call we have a call for development, production support, and minority co-production is somehow included in the production call. So we don't we don't allocate in advance a specific amount for co-production, for minority co-production, but we are just like case by case evaluating and assessing the applications that we receive. And this flexibility, which is somehow the flexibility that our fund has always had since the very beginning, proved to be a successful, let's say, option, considering, for example, that over the past year, for Italy, it's been a year pretty much difficult in terms of having access to, for our Italian producers, to have access to the National Film Fund, because everything was stuck. Now they are slowly reopening all the calls. We had this kind of paradox that in the last call we supported more minority co-productions than productions from our region. So this is also somehow the flexibility that allows us to have this. The minority co-production funding support can reach up to 70,000 euros per project. And but the good thing is that, as I was saying at the beginning, it's something that somehow is compatible with the rest of the financial support that you can get in our region, thanks also to the Film Commission, the Friuli Venezia Giulia Film Commission. So all in our region, we have 1,200,000 euros from our fund, plus 2,800,000 euros from the Film Commission, so it's 4 million euros already in the region. Plus, of course, we have the 6 million euros available for the minority co-production funding scheme in Italy. That somehow, when it was introduced a few years ago, kind of completed the whole system that was already functioning before in our region, but somehow offer more reasons to identify, to choose Italy as a potential co-production country. One thing that you were mentioning before, Chris, about France is not only the percentage that, for example, a fund like yours has compared to the CNC. I think it's also important to understand what is the success rate of each minority co-production fund. And for sure, CNC is probably the most selective co-production funding scheme. So of course, when choosing also a partner, I'm not saying that, okay, choose as a first option the one that is more likely to be reached, but it's also understanding, okay, what is the added value? And of course, it's not only the money, and we will speak probably also about all the creative elements that we put in co-production and what is the added value that all this brings. But it's also the dialogue between the funds. It's also the policy that we are sharing. And so I think that Italy nowadays with the whole funding system and the tax incentive scheme that was somehow re-moduled in the past few months, and it's available also for international minority co-production up to 40%. It's a system that can really enable to have, let's say, substantial co-production where it's really possible to put a lot of financing in place, creative elements, and especially also it's a big market with a big audience that can be reached. And not to forget that at the end is what we want to achieve.
Thank you. But just one thing in addition to what you said. Is it obligatory that the projects that are applying for your funding are shooting in your region or not?
No, let's say that the way we work, we operate in our region is that for our fund, in order to get up to 70,000 euros, you don't need to shoot in the region, but you need to have the involvement in your, let's say, team of few creative positions. It could be the editor, it could be a sound designer, it could be composer, it could be cinematographer. So this is like, without shooting, you can have access to our fund using regional creative positions. Then, if you shoot in the region, you can also have access to the Film Commission Fund, and you can add on top, it's up to 300,000 euros for films that are entirely shot and they're spending a lot of money in the region. So basically, the two complementary systems are based on creative impact through our regional fund and economic impact with the Film Commission. So it's like shooting and creative positions.
Okay, thank you. Alexandra, you represents Film Center Montenegro, the youngest film center in the region. And you often ask me why we don't get any Slovenian applications for our minority, which I would ask you now what you think why, and to maybe present first of all the options and possibilities which are opening up for co-producing with Montenegro.
Thank you, Natasha, for invitation to be in this very good company and to have a chance to present Montenegro Film Center in front of you. Yes, and we really have, it is not a problem, but it is a situation that in the last 3 calls we didn't have any majority production from Slovenia to apply on our minority co-production fund. We have a call 1 time per year. In the middle of the year, I suppose next year will be at the end of April or beginning of May, and you can count and prepare and to find the co-producers from Montenegro to apply on our call. And we couldn't compare with the rest of the people for this from this table and film fund, because we are youngest and with the smallest budget, because in the last but it is really important to share with you also how our budget increased in the last 7 years, because we started 2017 and our first call was the call for the minority co-production, and I think that is on the first or the second call we had first minority co-production with Slovenia, and in that time our whole budget was 300,000 euros for the all calls. And this year, and I suppose next year, but I hope maybe we will have some increase of the budget for minority. That is now it is our budget for minority co-production. In this year, we, as Chris mentioned, 50 projects per call. This year, we had more than 30 projects to apply on our call for minority co-productions, and I think that most of the company was from the Croatia and Serbia and rest of the region, and I hope that you have a chance to meet our producers and to start to cooperate in the future. because we are lacking in our law. And I hope that next year, because we started to work on changing the law, that we will have recognize post-production for the. You can apply for the post-production in Montenegro for minority, and that I suppose that will increase the number of production from Slovenia to have on our call next year.
Okay, thank you, Alexandra. And now I turn to my right, to my dear friend Atina, whom I'm especially thankful that she came to this secret place in Europe. It's not easy to find it, but I'm really happy that you are here with us as the head of the Greek Film Center, who is now part of Creative Greece, if I'm not wrong. Greece has always been a wishful country and co-producer to our producers, not always, but many times. We've done not so much together, but we had two good stories in the past. One of them is Boštjan Virc's production, last film, but who gained support, I think, from the national broadcaster in Greece. And the other successful case that I know was the Apples, the film that was a co-production between Greece and Slovenia. So tell us, please, how things work in Greece. What do producers need to have more, to be more compatible, to be stronger at the calls that you are preparing? So maybe. As everybody knows a lot about Croatian system and also Serbian, because those are traditional partners, maybe I would ask you to go a bit more into details, if just practically what, how, and when. Thank you.
Natasha, thank you. I have to admit that when I got first time in my mandate 3 years ago, Natasha was the first one to seek for me in Thessaloniki International Film Festival and to ask to have a rendezvous, a secret rendezvous that started the whole thing. And actually I felt that it was thanks to you that I have been introduced to this very good company that we are in now, and we have overcome things that for us are not an issue, but maybe on a general level of not exactly politics, but of stereotypes between countries in the region, might be an obstacle in having a real and open communication. I think we have moved a lot since 2021, and we are really glad that we have started receiving now a lot of proposals, at least on the level of discussing things with the countries from the region. Our minority co-production scheme is not much different than the things that have been described. We have it twice per year, in spring, and in now the next one is going to end in 4 days. We had an extra one for the last year, which was extra money coming from the RFF, but we see if this continues. It depends on the decisions on a European level. What we are looking for is the classic things. You have to address a Greek producer to be your, the one that's going to lead the proposal to the Greek Film Center. Everything is done through a digital platform, the application and everything. That is the first level of eligibility of the projects. Then after that, they undergo through the system of readers, which means that you have 3 anonymously, you don't know who your readers are, but they make a decision and they make a description about their opinion on your project. Then they give also a grade. So we have a list, and the director of our of the relevant department, which is the production department, will check on the finance. That the first part is more about the, let's say, more selective, more quality criteria. The second part deals more with the financial plan that is presented and how plausible this is to be reached. And then there is a decision that might take into consideration other issues apart from the grading of the readers, which have to do with the strength of the companies involved, how far they have seen that they can go. And after that, there's the chain of decisions coming to me as a director.
The strength of the company, the Greek company, or the
No,
main
the
producer?
combination, the main producer. But also if we can see that the Greek company can really support and get through the whole thing. But our producers are well connected with the area. I think most of you must know some of them. And we have the ability we now have come to the point that we understand how different countries work with their producers. So we have an understanding of the companies getting involved. For us, it is important, as Alessandro has mentioned, that there is an involvement on the level of creativity, not only of shooting. And of course, next to that, we have to consider that we have the cash rebate system, which is one of the biggest. To talk about the situation at this moment, the platform for cash rebate has stopped from May till the beginning of next year, due to the fact that we were merging also. The Greek Film Center has merged with ECOME, which was the organization caring about the cash rebate. Now we have become one, which the title, you said it correctly, it's a Hellenic Film and Audiovisual Center / Creative Greece. Creative Greece is the name that we're going to use internationally. And the Greek Film Center has become one of the two major directors of this organization. Up till now, we are proceeding with whatever we used to do at the Greek Film Center in the same way. And we're expecting to get more money. That's the promise of the government, to put us in all this hassle of have to deal with another organization within a couple of months. And we're expecting to hear more about the next months. And minority co-production and co-production in general, even if we are majority or minority, is the only way to move. For us, it's very well, it is clear that the producers that get involved in co-productions and get related to other producers, especially in the area, are the ones that bring the best results. And this is related to the circuit of festivals, which is, I think, quite important for us, for each company to bring more money on the next project. And also this affiliation for countries like Greece that does not share the same past with other countries. As Ivan said, I got a little bit envy because Ivan mentioned we all share this similar past and we have a common future. For us, language is an issue. Mm-hmm. I mean, even we are outside having coffee, I'm the one who,
doesn't understand
the exotic whole thing goes around. But this is not an issue because we have a stronger language than this, which is film. Not TV series yet, not broadcasting overall, not games or whatever, but film. So we rely on that to have a better communication, the better strategies in the future for our producers and our filmmakers also. Why not? Because for us also we have started having these. I'm not talking only about Lanthimos, who has gone to another dimension for all of us, but we do have filmmakers that do not rely on Greek money at all. They are filmmakers being chosen by foreign companies and producing, doing their showing their talent with money based on other countries. So I think co-production will become something much more complicated and more interesting within the next years. We will have to consider many other aspects rather than only gathering the money, going to a festival, then what is the audience? It's an open discussion, and I'm really glad that all these, let's say, hardships have started being discussed in between us on an open level to try to see how we as funds can go beyond funding and give real support to a solution to this direction, not only on our national level, but on the level of the region. And the region, you know, it's like everybody's identity these days. It's like an onion. You can be Balkan, you can be Western, Southeastern Europe, you can be East, you can be whatever. But with all these layers of identity, I think we can every time identify with a new partner and create, give space to discussion for a better solution.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I agree. We are talking a lot about distribution because we always start with the funding possibilities, but then always there is more and more present the dilemma of how to secure better circulation and distribution within the region, but that is a level up, as you would say. Yeah. Here with us is also Peter. Peter Todorov is also for the first time here in Slovenia, the director of Bulgarian National Film Center. Peter, welcome. Really happy to have you here. Bulgaria has been recently, has changed recently, I think, the legal basis of how audiovisual sector is now arranged in Bulgaria. You've gained a lot more money than you used to have. So first of all, would be interesting to hear what changed and what are now the circumstances that you work with. But on the other hand, Bulgaria has been partner in some projects in the past, but latest, not to forget to mention, the latest success was the co-production made by Nebojša Šljevčević.
I want to start this with this, but you took from me.
So here, Peter, yes. So tell us what to do to get better cooperation with Bulgaria.
Thank you, Natasha. Thank you for your invitation. It's an honor for me to be here. Thank you for your time. I want to start with this good example from this year, the Croatian majority production from Nebojša Šljevčević movie, The Man Who Could Not Remain Silent, who won the Palme d'Or in Cannes, and now is in our Oscar competition for the short movies. 3 of the 4 countries behind the project are on this table: Croatia, Slovenia, and Bulgaria. So my personal opinion is that the international co-production are the future of the European cinema, and we are trying to follow the good examples like Croatia. Our system is almost the same. We have 4 calls per year. It's in deadlines in January, April, July, and October. The maximum cap for a feature film is 125,000 euro per project for feature. Also supporting documentaries with 50,000 euro and animation. There is Slovenian project this year. We already signed a contract with animation Slovenian project. Also we're supporting series, and of course we have a cash rebate up to 25%. You can combine the minority money with the cash rebate, which is important. The bad news is that all the application documents are on paper, but your partner, Bulgarian co-producer, we know this. For sure, we are trying to go in digital this next year, 25. For example, in the last call for 24, there are 11 projects for feature films, 4 from Serbia, 3 from Greece, 2 from Romania, and 2 from Turkey. So it's not a huge competition. We usually support 3 projects. So feel free to welcome to Bulgaria and apply for minority co-production, because we are open for every good project.
Thank you, Peter. Yeah, that's really not a huge competition compared to what is going on in our minority calls. It's huge competition. So I think we've run through the basics of funding possibilities, but maybe now I would challenge my colleagues with the question, what else do you think funds, what can we offer to better cooperation, and also the circulation, what are the visions of yours for the future that also could include our works and missions, because as I said already, visibility and circulation of our films is terrible. Yesterday we had a joke, how hard it is to find the Slovenian film in Bulgaria.
It's impossible to find.
Yeah, and that only the films that really enter the big festivals are then available in cinemas locally in our countries. So maybe, Chris, what do you think is there from the funds that we can also offer, and what is your perspective to this lack of distribution in the country, because we are all with borders down to Greece, and we could be watching each other's films. What to do to see more Slovenian films in cinemas, let's say in Croatia, and maybe also, do you support minority co-productions that have you on board for distribution in Croatia? That's a crucial thing, I think.
Okay, let's start with some basics. I think we've all talked about how important the minority co-production funding is, and I think what is important is that we're efficient in the procedures and that we're able to move quickly. The need of the producers to close their financial constructions is serious. The money, the support from partner countries is crucial, really, to allow them to really move ahead with production. So that's something to be stressed. I think we need to maintain a dialogue and work with each other as funds to get the system to be as complementary and efficient as possible. In terms of distribution, it's a big problem. It's a big problem for our own films. I mean, we are not achieving the results with the audiences in cinemas for our majority films as we would hope, as we even expected for some of them, and we're grappling with that. I think we've lost some audiences for a variety of reasons, not the main topic for today, but it is hard to reach the levels that we had in the past for certain films that should be at that level now, if you just look at the past as a guide. It's clear that we can work to adapt films to, for sure, at least have subtitles and make sure that the works are available in as user-friendly a format as possible. It may be that with artificial intelligence we'll see more dubbing, more quality dubbing actually done at a reasonable cost, which I think would help. In terms of support for distribution, at the moment we haven't been providing support. We had at times in the past looked at it, certain films did. I think it's something that we need to look at as a partnership operation, basically, so that if our majority film is going to be distributed in Slovenia, we and hopefully the Slovenian fund would be able to provide some form of support to augment the distribution. I think that helps with the credibility of the distribution process to have the local support. But it's a challenge that we talk about here amongst ourselves. But it's equally a challenge at the EU level. I mean, there's a constant sort of searching for ways in which to improve on the performance. It's been, a European dream to have a lot of cross-border circulation. We are told sometimes that the very system that supports co-production, the financing behind co-productions, is an obstacle to circulation because the rights allocation, the geographic licensing is seen by some in Brussels as an obstacle to wider circulation, as an obstacle because you can't it's more difficult to create pan-European platforms involving co-produced works unless Netflix buys them and buys all of the rights. And they do that, and then you see that they're at least reach audiences in more countries. So it's really a deeper question, really, and you have elements of the system that we have in place that we need in conflict with some of the potential solutions. So sorry, I haven't given an optimistic sort of simple answer.
It's not always optimistic, but yes, Slovenian Film Center, for us, for many years already, we do support distribution of minority co-productions. Since 6th of November, Dražen will come to cinemas, for example, yes. The project Majority Croatian, with absolutely with support also for distribution. So I think that it's super complicated challenge, including everything what you said, the rights, the geographical obstacles, but this little maybe we could do. First step would maybe be this, to support distribution locally, but even Petar, if you have...
Yeah, we have a scheme because when Bulgaria is a minority co-producer, we qualifying as a Bulgarian film, and they are equal to major Bulgarian films. And last 2 years we allocated 10% of the whole budget for distribution, and it works. For 2023, it was the best year of admissions of Bulgarian and European films in the cinemas. So it works for sure.
You didn't mention the money that you're operating with. The 10% of the whole budget.
10% of Bulgarian production budget, which is 17 million for 24, which is
10%, 1.7 million goes to support distribution.
Yes.
Wow. Wow. I don't know what to ask.
Buy them the tickets.
I know.
So, and just for the...
We're supporting distribution company and also the cinemas who are showing European and Bulgarian films.
Aha,
both sides.
That's including the whole chain. You
Exactly.
support these cinemas, you support distributors, and you support producers, or not?
No.
Just to clear that out also, yeah. Serbia, even, I'm super happy for Slovenian films that they circulate in Serbia at the festivals very well. I think we can be satisfied with that. We all know that the market share of Serbian films in Serbia cinemas is good and high.
It's still the strongest.
Yeah, it's the strongest. We are super jealous for that. But what about the minority co-productions? If you support minority co-production from Slovenia, do you then support the distribution of that film? Do you do anything to push it to be visible in the cinemas?
Well, first, I think I will come back to the numbers or the money issue. With more money for fund, for minority productions, there will be more money per film. obviously slightly or much bigger budgets for film, and also the topic of the films which are, let's say, in our region of former Yugoslavia, should be more attractive towards the local audience. And we had some examples like those. Film Toma, which was very successful outside of Serbia, in Bosnia, in Croatia, in Macedonia, Northern Macedonia as well, because the subject of the film was attractive to the audience. Also with Dražan, who I think is going to make a very significant result in all parts of former Yugoslavia, because everybody knows who Dražan was and want to see a film about him. Dražan Petrović, the famous one of the best basketball players ever in this region. So that film will definitely have will have a great audience. We had a very strong film this year called Nedelja, about also one popular singer, and that film also had good results outside of Serbia. I heard that in Northern Macedonia, it seems still in the preparing stages, the film about Toše Proeski. Yeah. Also, that film is going to make a huge result because the topic is common and interesting to all the audience. Regarding the distribution of those films in theaters, we could ask or think about certain regulations for some kind of obligations for state-funded theaters through local authorities to have certain percentage of films per year which are minority co-productions funded by Serbia in some window of time. As you all know, the distribution window, even for the bigger films, is shorter than ever before because of the platforms and all other things. But maybe we can arrange for some kind of percentage and to have a chain of theaters in each of our countries, which is safe house for those films
like
every year. No, like a safe house for those films, because if you have, I don't know, 20, 30 theater chain of state-funded theaters in Serbia, or maybe even 50, or in Croatia, or in Bosnia and Herzegovina, then you can oblige them to reserve certain windows of time to showcase the films which were funded by Serbia or by Croatia in Croatia or by Slovenia in Slovenia, and to give them chance to be shown for the wider audience. And then also through our centers, we can try to talk with public services, with Croatian television in Croatia, broadcasters, Radio Television Serbia in Serbia, and other public broadcasters, to include some of the films which were funded by our countries into their program slots every year. So I think we can all find certain mechanisms to do this. Maybe before that we can have another discussion like this one internally, and to then pretty much mirror the same approach to the local authorities and television, to try to get them on the same table and to give those films bigger chance to be viewed by more people.
Thank you, Alessandra. You are also an initiator and the masterman of one project that in the region is very well known. Everybody knows it, not everybody maybe, but many people. That's a REACT project, and maybe concerning all that issues, future, what to do, what can funds do. This is one initiative that is here for many years already now. And maybe this is another possibility where I can ask you to summarize this lovely project and also your thoughts on the future that we already discussed, a strategic meeting we had in Belgrade. I know that our producers know well, but still this is a partnership that is led by Friuli Venezia Giulia Fund, and is including Croatian Audiovisual Center and Slovenian Film Center and Serbian Film Center also for last couple of years. So the word is yours.
Yeah, thank you for introducing the React initiative. React has been one of the probably most successful experiences that we managed to have in the region. And recently, we have been asking ourselves in one of our strategic meetings also the role of distribution. And so it's something that, of course, is not only on a regional, on a national, or a macro-regional level. So it's something that is important for all of us, because we were asking exactly the same questions, like why React projects or React supported themes are not traveling in the 4 countries that are partners of React. And just before going to briefly summarize the React scheme, I just want also to say that we as the regional fund, we are also asking ourselves how we could probably change something for our rules for the future. And for sure, distribution is something that we are very much thinking of. Of course, still having our a regional perspective, we will still support our regional producers as our main, let's say, applicants. But in a way, we are thinking the possibility to try to offer them the tools, financial tools, and not only, let's say, also in terms of consultancies, in order to have access easily to the possibility to sit down at a table with distributors from Italy and beyond, and somehow bring something on the table in terms of possibility to cover some costs related to the distribution on their side. This is something that we are discussing, as well as on the other, let's say, on the opposite phase, we are considering to start the idea of minority co-production already on a development phase. So to start, initiate and launch something like a minority co-development funding scheme in order to start thinking and designing our stories and our strategies for the distribution already in a very early phase of development. And writing stories together and thinking about the audiences together. So this is something that we are trying to see how and when we could somehow make this possible. We had the same questions with React, because as you probably know, React is a co-development initiative, and the strong point of the initiative of React was not to put only the financial support as a key element, but to put the vision of the 4 countries, the vision of the 4 funds, the financial support, but also the idea of a collaboration and the importance of the training in the region. And this is why React is somehow, was since the very beginning, was meant to bring together the professionals, producers, projects from the 4 countries of React in order to identify possible partners, develop better projects, and then have access to a very little financial support that can automatically give access to other funding support, such as Creative Europe, such as like the Minority Co-Production Funding Scheme for the different countries. And in a way, the React funding scheme that is now open, and so you can have access to. And the simple rule, we wanted to make something very simple, something very flexible, something accessible. The very simple rule is to have one of the development funding support from one of the 4 countries already confirmed. So we wanted to somehow have already a sort of, let's say, quality stamp from the local fund, from the domestic fund, and to have a co-producer from one of the other 4 countries. And the development support is 10,000 euros for each project, and it could be open for narrative features, documentaries, creative documentaries, and animation projects, short and feature animation. We wanted to try, and this development support is somehow combined with a series of workshops and a series of initiatives that every year we discuss together with the 4 funds in order to understand what are for the 4 countries, for the 4 funds, the priorities, because I think that the basic is really sharing the vision. And for example, for the future, for this year, our priority was, for example, to level up the general quality of our companies, and this is why we started for the first time in Belgrade a workshop dedicated to company sustainability in collaboration with EAVE. And next week, we will have a workshop dedicated to creative documentaries, because we want to level up the general quality, ambition, visual ambition of our projects in the region in order to be able to reach other markets. So this is the direction that we want to take, and I hope that we will be able to get some good results.
Super, thank you, Alessandro. This is the initiative that comes from the so-called West, but I think, Atina, that, I mean, you will see now why I use that word. There is an initiative on the other side of the region that is also tradition, has a long tradition. And Slovenia, I remember when I came, I found a contract for that project from the 90s, if I can believe, that Slovenia has been partner in that project, but no longer active for many, many years. Maybe I give you the opportunity to maybe tell us what are you doing in Greece and together with colleagues here around the table.
Well, first, we are looking forward to seeing you back. All those three who are in REACT, because there's nothing that is a rivalry between these. Although in the past, some on a political level has used that, but it's a combination, as I described before. Maybe it's not the best metaphor I can use. It's this onion thing. You can be C-Cinema Network and you can be REACT at the same time. Nobody stops you.
C-Cinema Network is the initiative.
Yes, it's the initiative. It's Southeastern Europe, SEE. This has started with a very big political ambition at the time, because it was the end of the 90s, the end of the 90s, and thank God this is long in the past, where the tensions in the area have led to a Greek politician to have the initiative, but I think this is just relevant to the politics of the time, to introduce film as a bridge between the newborn countries in the area in order to have a common way of communicate through culture. So this is not a Greek thing. It's something that belongs to all the countries of the area that are part of this network. At this moment is supporting. We have a very easy way to make things work. There is a fund that there's an amount of money that each country contributes with. Then they present two projects that they have chosen from the ones that have applied. But it's about development. It's about development of short film. And then we all gather together once per year. Okay, traditionally in Thessaloniki, this is the part that we have kept, but I don't think anybody complains to do that in the framework of Thessaloniki Film Festival. And we all make a decision about everybody else's choice, final choice. So there's one film, one project from every country that gets the development money. So we say that everybody is happy. The thing is that which was some 6-7 years ago, when you started, of course at that time, because of the type of the organization that has been chosen back in the 90s, which was the most relevant for the needs of the period, to be more liberal, more open, etc., has grown up along with the age of the people there. So it needed a restart, which we have done on a legal level, the last couple of years. And we are really happy to see that there are films that get funds from this one, even the 10,000 for each, but it's okay for the development of a short film. Have started circulated around. We see more and more important filmmakers and producers coming to this. And also on the level of publicity, we also try to see this as a label, because we see that the producers and the filmmakers are using it. When they go to the next step, we have been granted the C-Cinema Network fund for our country. So since everything now is how I can put in my basket more and more grants and titles and entitlements for the next step, I think it's a good time for this one to reopen also to more countries. And also, as it has been a discussion between us to become more active on the level also of circulation of films, which can bring us also together with the discussions that React has in the area. So I think all of us see that it is very important to go to that stage. I know it's very difficult because all of us deal with a lot of concerns that have to do with funding on its own, but all of us have at the end of the day to see how this the money that the public money that we are using are going to meet with the public through the films.
But do you support distribution of minority co-productions that Greek Film Center?
As Greek Film Center, yes, because
so if it's Slovenian film would be a co-production with Greece.
Yes,
with
because as a co-production, the moment it has it's part of a co-production, it gets the rights of a Greek film, so it can get all the prerogatives. So
like a Greek film, as
yes,
it
like
is
a
with
Greek
the convention.
Film, yes.
Okay.
Like a Bulgarian, so yes, we do support that.
Another question: the cinemas. What do Greek people watch films in cinemas, and do they watch Greek films in cinemas? And do you see Slovenian films in your cinemas?
What did Ivan say about the Serbians? Serbian films being the highest?
Yeah, they are super successful.
The Greek films are not the highest in Greece,
Okay.
to put it politely. But it's very peculiar because now I'm making a joke out of it. It's really painful, as you understand. The good thing is that we talk a lot about the success of Greek films all around the world, which is something good, at least it's recognized. Although sometimes we get questions in the parliament from specific parties, why do you fund this kind of films and not about your national heroes? We have that quite often, which shows a tendency of the public also. And I think it's something that all of us have somehow in our societies. But the thing is that there is not real attraction on the level of cinema theater. Mm-hmm. There is a coming back. Let's say the last year it has been much, much better. So, of course, we have international, we have Greek, and then we have European, which is sad. So we have American, we have Greek, and then we have the rest of the European. Okay. We do not consider a success just to say that Greek are on top of Europeans, because we'd like to be part of the Europeans that are on top of everything else as a strategy. But we do plan, now that we expect to have more money, to see more seriously what can make the cinema theater sexy again, in the sense that we have seen that there is one of our of the platforms that circulate films on a national level. The Greek films are at a very, very, very high level. It's a European, it's about art house cinema from all over the world. Then in this one, the Greek films have the best attendance, which means that somehow in the mind of the viewers, it's not that the Greek film is not worth, it's that we better see it at home. We try to figure out what exactly is behind the mind of the viewer, or if it's the same viewer that goes to see films in the theater. At the moment, we believe that we should strongly have this demographic, survey, but on a different level, because the results we have up till now do not explain what we see as a consumption. Mm-hmm. So based on that, we are thinking that we will create a program, if this is the funding, that will support the theater itself, the cinematic theaters themselves. And we want to see also, in the previous years, the cinema theaters back 30, 40 years ago have been turned into adult films theaters. Then there was another tendency 30 years ago to become supermarkets. Now in Greece they become theaters for theatrical use. There is something that has to do with the television and the actors and the actresses that with the star system, but we try to figure out how this works in order to support people going back to the traditional cinema. I know most of us must have heard the person who has conducted the survey for Filmy Vast saying that we all are very, we are not modern at all, thinking that our films, you think that your national films should go to the cinema theaters. You have to accept the fact that their level is the level of a platform. I'm really sorry to say that I cannot accept that. Maybe I'm very traditional, maybe I'll still live in the late 20th century, but I would like a film that costs as a film for not for a platform, but a film for the cinema theater to be enjoyed in a cinema theater, and nobody to tell me that I have to just to see it like that. I can see like that in order to choose something else, but not the films themselves. So we don't intend to give up.
We agree, I think.
Yeah.
Eva, bravo.
We definitely agree. I think what Filmy Vast was actually trying to say is that we should also look for alternative ways of getting the films to the audiences, and that not all theatrical films that are made actually make it to the movie theaters, and we shouldn't ab initio reject the idea that we would use platforms. They get to big audiences. We do. I mean, we, as everyone here, considers minority productions to be their own as well. So at home we support minority productions through our distribution scheme, but what we don't have is support for our majority co-productions when they go abroad, and that's where I think that there needs to be more communication with the relevant national film agencies when there is distribution going on in Slovenia, let's say, and there is some of that, but I think it's important to try to ramp it up.
Now, Dražen,
for example, and there
when
is.
it goes to distribution in Slovenia, we give some money, but that also you would support.
Or at least the distributor who has gotten money from us is in. And I think that happens automatically with larger films, but not with smaller films. We're also trying to look. We're trying to find ways to motivate our independent cinemas, our so-called mreža, our network of independent cinemas, to screen more, to start with Croatian films, but also independent European films. And we have, you have a program through media that does try to reward cinemas for attracting public to non-national films. It has a certain value. I'm not sure it has a great effect, but you have to keep. I think we have to keep pushing in that direction, and we are actively searching for ways to get the network of independent cinemas more engaged around independent cinema, which has all of the challenges that Atina mentioned about having multi-purpose and so forth. They're not all the same, so you don't have a one-size-fits-all solution. As for React, we had, what was it, about 2 years ago? We had a dedicated session, I think it was, in Rovinj to talk about distribution. And, from that came certain takeaways. But in the end, I think more than anything, it underlined the challenges of distributing a film of the nature of the React films that are ultimately made. And
this is when the mreže met.
The mreže, there were multiple. There were experts on distribution from particular countries who came, who talked about how you tailor distribution campaigns and so forth. It was interesting and useful. Alessandro.
If I can just comment on this, yes, it was the first time where we brought together not only the funds and the producers from the Riyadh countries, but also the distributors and the exhibitors. It was a
Network,
chance really
yeah.
to try to have the whole value chain. But the problem is that also we try to come up with an idea of a distribution plan, but the scope of the plan was probably too high for the REACT, let's say, size, family. So the type of investment needed to solve would be too high. So this is like where we.
So maybe if it's if this involves more countries, the cost gets better. I mean, it's an initial cost that is very, very high that 4 countries cannot afford, right? But
yes.
If it's the same strategic plan for 10 or 11, does it work better?
We can definitely discuss about this because the plan is already there on the table. So
idea on the table. Alexandra, you are in charge for the newborn child in the region.
Yes.
But I know very well that you are doing a lot on establishing a cinema network, putting out again the cinemas, renovating them, trying to stimulate quality content in your cinemas in Montenegro. I also know that you take good care of Slovenian films to be screened to Montenegrin audience. So tell us something about it. I think that you are really doing it in a very fine way. So how is it with cinema's distribution of our films, for example, and you are in Montenegro?
I want to make some wrap up of what we are done in last 7 years, parallel with co-financing the contemporary Montenegrin production. Film Center is in charge with Ministry of Culture and local municipality for digitalization of the public cinema. And from 2019 until today, we are open 11 public cinema in the whole country, and waited for 5 contracts to finish in next half year, let's say. And we will have with that number 15 or 16 public cinema in the whole country. We will have, I suppose, when we finish until next 2 years, 24. It is how many public cinema we have in Montenegro. But now, in the last 4 years, in 2019 and 2020, we only have one private cinema in Podgorica, and now we have 11. We have a Cineplex in Podgorica, but we have also 11 public cinema in the whole country. For this, in the beginning of this year, we put a lot of effort to turn the lights in the cinema, in the cultural centers in the whole country, also with our moving cinema. We have moving cinema, and we have a project. In the last 3 years, we had more than 300 screenings of domestic, national, regional and European film in each public culture center in the country, because we gave them our moving cinema, and we turned the lights in for cinema in Montenegro. And this year, at the beginning of this year, we get we encourage our national cinema network to be founded, and under that umbrella we support them to promote and to screen the regional film. And we use the occasion, like what is now is the month of the European film with EFA. For the first time, we will have in all cinema in Montenegro, we will have a promotion of European film. When I said the European film, I mean on Slovenian. That will be family therapy in 5 or 6 public cinema. Also will be 3 Croatian majority project. And I am very happy because in 6 public cinema, the children will have a chance to see cricket and Antonetta, and I'm so happy because of that. And also, I use my connection with my colleagues to invite them to give the rights for screening their national project in our cinema, because I think it is really important to give that content to the public, and also to give them the chance to see something new in the real place for watching the films. And I think also this kind of initiative, what is C Cinema Network, Montenegro is a part of the C Cinema Network, and we would like to be a part of REACT also, because I think it is important not only for our colleagues and producers to give them the chance to develop their project. It is also important for the distribution. And I think what Peter said about how Bulgarian Film Center allocated 10% of the whole budget in distribution, it is very important to get that in our scheme. And under our network, on which way, how we support minority co-productions, it is Montenegrin film, but we worked in the last 2 months for the 2 minority under National Montenegro National Cinema Network, organized screening of Rajko Grlić films, and also Majka Mara as a majority Serbian production in the all public cinema. And it is a small step. We couldn't compare with these big brothers and sisters, but it is really important for each child and students also. And what is also important, and I want to share with you, and parallel with this organization of the screening in the public cinema, we started to changing the curriculum for the primary schools, and I hope that we will in the next year or for the 2 years we will have the film literacy in the primary school, and that is like parallel step for new public in Montenegro in the whole region.
But additional, do you support then distribution for the films that gain your minority support? Do you give them money for distribution, or you just involve in the programming?
We will now. This year we were involved in the program, but we will change the scheme for the next year, and we will support the distribution of the minority under the scheme of the supporting the distribution in the cinema.
Very good if you can plan to change the scheme so fast. The producers, I think
that it is a small country, and it is.
I think we've said what I wanted to hear from my colleagues, and maybe now the floor can be yours for some concrete questions, dilemmas, comments, if you have any.
Just please raise your hand and there will be a mic for you.
Is there Joško? Huh?
Thank you very much to everyone presenting your schemes. My name is Joško Rutar, I'm a producer. I have 2 questions. One is very particular and not, let's say, directly connected with co-productions, but I think it will interest all the participants here. So the first question would be for Chris. I read that you establish a sort of tax credit system in Croatia for domestic producers. So can you please explain just the basics about it, to understand the idea in which direction went Croatia to make the producers more sustainable and more competitive in a way?
Yeah, I can answer that very briefly. Yes, we did. Just a few weeks ago, our parliament adopted a change to our audiovisual law that puts in place a fiscal incentive scheme. Yes, we don't call it tax credit, fiscal incentive, which in effect is a credit on taxes that have been paid, which will allow independent producers to rely on taxes that they paid in the 5 years going back to receive support up to 132,000 euros annually. So they use their credit as a sort of a bank account to withdraw from, let's say, to develop new projects. The idea is really to encourage continuity in the structure of the independent production scene in Croatia. So it's relatively unique, I think, as specifically defined, but conceptually it is designed to provide more stability in the independent production scene and strengthen the producers.
Thank you very much. And the second question will be for all the panelists. You will talk about your current positions, current systems of support, current international activities, which are basically on the level of development. And of course, I think that a lot of the producers here in the region dream that one day we will come to the position to create a sort of regional production funding bodies like they do it in Scandinavia with Nordic TV and Film Fund or some other initiatives, you know, and I know that this is a bit out of current position, but I'm really interested if, for example, my opinion is that a lot of countries here went to or jumped into the Jurij series scheme, but they are paying big contributions into it, and on the other hand, there's no strong system of financing TV series, so it's Jurij scheme for series is just a waste of money for the states, from my point of view, and that better investment of that money annually will be into some regional production scheme formed by different funds. Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's not probably me to comment because I know Joško's thoughts. But you pointed out a great idea. Maybe for that regional fund series could be something that we could be talking about, because there are public broadcasters that could be on board and all the funds. Maybe this is not a bad idea. It's very interesting, actually. What do you think, my colleagues? My Athena already has her thoughts.
Yes, because this is something we act, all of us, as not following, but as being the 5 Nordic. The problem is that we are not sure about the number every time we count each other.
The name of the region.
No, and also the name of the region. So these people on the north, the Baltic and the Nordic, have resolved these issues. I don't know how. They have managed to know who they are and how many they are. Which for me it's always a question. But this does not make us less effective, apart from the fact that we don't have the same budgets. But actually you have pointed something that on a level it's been working between us to see how we can manage, even if we say in a bigger ambition, to have a common cash rebate within 10 or 15 years, instead of competing with each other. Who's going to give more, 30, 35,
You cannot
40.
compete to Greece.
That's why I'm saying that, because it's so big that it shouldn't be that big, maybe, in my opinion. It's too high. Yes, it's too high, and maybe we should reconsider how we can do the whole thing. But The thing is that, especially about TV series, which can be a first platform that we have not touched independently. It can be an idea of
because it's
discussing.
new. Maybe next year here in Porto Roș we can arrange a meeting also with public broadcasters from our countries, and we could start discussing this idea that Joško put on, which is super interesting because this is new. We know we don't have our own models. Any more comments, or shall we go for a glass of sparkling wine to start the day with sparkling wine? Any more questions? Clement? Sorry, yeah. No. Is it Clement? No. Okay.
Well, my name is Roman.
Hi, Roman.
I'm not Clement. If you would, I will ask the question in Greek and then in English.
You are from Greece? No.
Half of me.
Half of you? Oh, okay. Nice to have two in the room. It's very, yeah.
Yes. Η ερώτηση μου είναι για σας, κυρία Αθηνά. Ετοιμάζουμε μια ελληνο-σλοβενική ταινία. Ελληνο-σλοβενική ταινία. Κομμωδία. Μια κομμωδία. Και τώρα αναζητούμε παραγωγούς και συμπαραγωγούς στην Ελλάδα. Και μπορείτε να προτείνετε πώς να βρούμε έναν Έλληνα συμπαραγωγό και σωστό τρόπο να βρούμε. Στα αγγλικά, we are preparing a Greek-Slovenian movie, and now we are looking for producers and co-producer in Greece and as well in Slovenia. And my question is, could you recommend how to find a Greek producer?
You are on the best, Greek, not
Greek. And Slovenian.
Slovenian you have here.
Yes.
This glass of sparkling wine waiting for us is the opportunity for you.
Not yet.
Give him 5 minutes.
For the glasses.
She can speak for 5 minutes.
Yes. She can speak for 5 minutes. That I know it's easy for her. No, but
for 5 minutes.
yeah, for seriously, for Slovenian partners, Porto Roș Festival is the best place to go.
Okay, I see. For Greek?
Because I cannot suggest any specific company, even if I read your. For me, the first test to have an understanding is to go around the results of Reimage the last 5 years to see which Greek companies are involved there. So you start having a list of, understanding who is working with whom. Then you can go also through the results of the Greek Film Center for the last years for co-productions. You might see who's more related in the area. With these names, you can go to the directory that we have in the Hellenic Film Commission, giving all the contacts with them, and all the best to you. But seriously, you have to do a little bit of homework on your own. And if you come up with things that you have to decide or whatever, which are specific questions, I will gladly reply to them or the department that has to do with production, but we cannot introduce you. You understand that it's against the laws of the market. But doing this and coming with specific questions, because now I have received a question from somebody, should I trust this company or not? I will reply if I'm sure about the company and I know that they have a good track record regarding their finance and everything. I will say yes, it is one of our safe solutions. But also, if you see from Thessaloniki Film Festival the last years, which shows mostly the national participation of our producers, from their list of the Greek productions and the minority co-productions being showcased there, you can have the total almost of the really active producers. And you can understand the kind of films they're doing, so that you can see if you can relate with them. And then by an email and anything, I think most of them reply immediately for a product, for a proposal.
Thank you, Tina. Chris wants to
Just
say.
a word, I don't want to let Joško's comment go unresponded to, at least briefly. We don't share your assessment of the Reimage proposed convention on series. We think it can be helpful. It will pull us in the direction of supporting series. And it's focused on independent production. I mean, if the if we change the world in which we're working and we have broadcasters, private broadcasters, public broadcasters running the show, I think there are some real questions that come up. So about what will be made, what sorts of series will be made, and I think that's a question we each as a country have to answer for ourselves. But you know, they are running. They have run some concours. They are getting some traction, and I think it deserves a chance. So that's my response, a brief response to Joško for today. Since he deserves it, he did ask the question.
Yeah.
And,
not maybe not all of you know that Slovenia is participating. It's just briefly to summarize the state of that series schemes in Europe. Yeah, it's Jurij has been preparing the European Convention on co-production of series. Now it's in discussion. It's one of the late phases of when we can all give comments. And also, together with that, Jurij invited countries to take place as we do for Jurij feature film. I mean, the thing that is going on for many years already. So Slovenia is participating with 150,000 euros. And of course, this is where Joško's comment comes from, that since we are not big in supporting series, we started, but shamefully and absolutely not enough to be really compatible in the European market. But at the moment, Slovenia is part of that initiative. We give, the Ministry of Culture pays 150,000 euros, which is the lowest entering point for countries. And of course, the ambition is then to develop schemes of support that will enable our independent producers to be able to take the reciprocity of the money out of that call. So we are on the way, and I think that what Joško said can be a little element of really the idea that we could maybe discuss. A year is a long time, but still next year maybe here in Portorož together with public broadcasters and make something on that playground on series. And this new, what you said, Film I Vast is talking about platforms, and series are step, not films, maybe definitely not all, but series, yes. So
next year should be a part of discussion that can start even now. Next year, Portorož can be the first part of some results. So there's
already, yes. That, so we can start now, and we can
to have a result next year in for 1 year.
Yeah.
Something.
Yeah. Something. Yeah, we meet a lot, so we can use the possibilities to discuss. Mojca, did you have enough time for the glasses?
I think
we have another question.
Somebody doesn't like wine here.
Regarding co-producing series, Peter was the only one who mentioned that they supported. How about the other centers? Thank you.
I can say that from this year we have a scheme to support the development of the TV scenario and the project. And it was large
for series.
For series, yes.
Script
and development support, yes. And it was a really big number of projects. What have we got, and we will see how it will continue in the future.
But is it open to, let me detail, is it open to foreign, project from Slovenia?
No, it is just for local, yes, a national project.
Yeah, we have the same situation. We have supported for some years now script and development projects.
We already have a results also, because we are supporting production for 2 years, and with Serbia we made an international co-production series called Operation Saber. It's about the murder of Zoran Djindjic, and won Cannes series this year, so it's working. There are also 2 calls per year. For international TV series, we didn't pay the tax amount for Euroimage, so we are in Josko team till now. We have locals, but we don't have Euroimage, but we are working to manage for 25 to
But
be eligible.
who is eligible to apply for your production of series call? Is it possible for a Slovenian producer?
Of course, is it.
Slovenian project
Yeah,
that
need
has a Bulgarian partner can
Exactly.
apply. And
Exactly,
how much
but
do you give?
You need money from, I think, some national organization here.
So if we give some,
Slovenian TV, national TV or something.
but how much do you give to?
It's 150 per project per session. Euro, 1,000 euro.
Okay, something very interesting.
It's for minority share of Bulgaria.
This is something also that, super, thank you.
We have in RF, and there is a round that finishes now, and we have another round. For this, it's almost about 20,000 per project for the development of TV series that are co-productions. That's what we encourage. Co-productions that have at least the interest of one broadcaster outside from Greece or platform. So with the scope of creating, the 6 to 8 episodes, etc. But one of our projects have managed to go to the Berlinale's development lab, which I think is going to attract a lot of attention. It's going to give us also a good opportunity to start seeing this as part of our yearly programs.
So you support development, and the eligible projects are
co-productions. Co-productions. Yeah.
So if again a Slovenian series with a Greek co-producer can apply for how much money at your?
It's about
20,000.
Yes.
For develop. So dear producers, you don't have development support in Slovenia, so maybe.
Yeah, because this is just the opportunity to go around and see.
Thank you.
There are not that many available workshops and labs in the festivals now, but at least to have the money to go and.
Ivan, do you support series?
Well, series are in some kind of. They're taking pretty much the
focus.
Not focus, but they are taking more and more of market share in each of our countries, especially in Europe and America as well, through platforms and others. But since Serbia is producing, I think, most of the television series in this part of Europe, we are thinking about and discussing internally about. So we shall see in following years. We will try to find the most suitable ways to recognize this and to be part of it as well, but definitely not the next year.
But this project that Peter mentioned that you co-produced with, where did it get?
No, that was what Peter mentioned. That is a television series called Operation Saver about the assassination of Prime Minister Zoran Đinđić. That was a series produced by a producer for the Radio Television of Serbia. And they, as a producer, not as RTS, applied for the support of Bulgarian Film Center.
Independent producer got funding from the public broadcaster.
No, that producer was hired by RTS. That independent producer was hired by RTS to produce a series on that subject, and they apply.
But who has the rights in Serbia then?
RTS broadcaster obviously ordered the series for them and paid the series, and independent producer made the series for RTS. So we are thinking about.
Independent producer or
Maya?
Well, but I will just introduce since we're on the topic. Hi everyone who doesn't know me, my name is Maja Vukic. I'm the Deputy CEO of Croatian Audiovisual Center, also a member of the donor board, as we call it, of the series, and vice president of the series fund, pilot program as it is called, of Eurimage. I know that the discussions in more of the countries that are at this table are the same. What is the value of the money and what is the invested? But I also think that sometimes it is important to promote a way of thinking and the way what we want the future to be. So we also, many countries have decided that if they offer the opportunity for the series to be produced, then other partners, and we have mentioned them, which is the broadcasters, will also jump at the opportunity and, well, maybe not jump, but walk slowly into the opportunity and to recognize it as something that is a value for their own. Of course, it takes time, and the results are not visible in 2 or 3 years, but I think that many of people around Europe believe that it is worthwhile a path to take.
Okay, Maya, thank you. Very valuable. Also that people know you. I mean, there's always something to discuss with the deputy directors. So I think, is there any more question? No. So then I would thank you all for being part of that, also the audience. And thank you. Thank you. Now we hopefully can mingle a bit downstairs. Is it downstairs? It's here. Okay, then it's here.
Don't drink. Don't drink too many wine because of the stairs.
The terrace is also open for
For mingling.
Yeah, but if we drink wine and the stairs.
How can we go down the stairs after the break?